What's up, everybody? Welcome back to This or Therapy. It's a show that I talk about anything that's on my mind, and that's what we do here. I'm your host, Chris Mack, and today's episode, we're going to talk about weak men. Now, when I say weak men, I don't mean men who are not afraid to be vulnerable, men who are in touch with their emotions and know how to express them in a healthy way. That's not weak to me. I know that a lot of the women and people think that saying that, you're not a weak man means that you're not vulnerable and you don't know how to express yourself. No, that's not what I mean. I'm talking about the physicality, right? Because as men, we are put on this earth to be strong, fearful, and protect people around us. That's why we built a society, right? That's why we have things like law enforcement, firefighters, a military. These are things that we use to protect our tribe. And to me, when you are physically weak, you kind of seem like you're not contributing to society. Now, I'm not saying that every man needs to go out there and go to the gym and lift a bunch of weights and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end of the day. That is not what makes you a man. But there are men out there who literally brag about not working out, being out of shape, being obese, being fat, basically being useless in society, right? Like, do you understand that it's imperative as men that we protect ourselves and be able to protect our loved ones, right? How are you going to be married and have children if you can't physically protect them, right? There are some things that we can't control, of course, right? But there are some things you can control, and getting up off your butt and getting in some kind of shape and being somewhat strong and having, working on your strength physically is important as a man. You can have a great job and you can be super rich, but guess what? Even super rich people work out. Look at Jeff Bezos. Big as hell, right? Yes, he has a bunch of bodyguards and he can pay a bunch of people to probably take a bullet for him, but if push comes to shove and he has to defend himself, he works out. Bill Gates doesn't look like an imposing figure. He works out. Mark Zuckerberg, not an imposing looking figure, but also works out. He trains jiu-jitsu, martial arts. Elon Musk trains jiu-jitsu, martial arts, something. There are men out there who are just sitting around doing nothing but, watching porn all day, being on the internet all day, eating bad food all day. And I know it's easy to do that, right? It's super easy to sit there and not do anything, right? It's hard to get up in the morning or in the afternoon or whenever you have free time and use that time to, go do something physical, right? Now, there are men out there who already do physical jobs, right? If you work in construction, working on oil rigs, deep sea fishermen, stuff like that, you're good. You're already doing something physical. You don't need to also add the gym to that. Does it help? Sure. I'm sure it probably helps your job if you did that. But, the ones that sit around and brag, there's people who say, I don't work out. There's better things to do. Really? Because what are you doing with yourself? Why do you want to die so quickly? I know that, this life is hard and, you can't take anything that you make here with us, but what are you really doing? If you have a wife and kids, what are you doing? Don't you want to see them grow old? Don't you want to see them grow up and have their own kids and be a grandfather? Or don't you want to be able to protect your wife if you guys are out and you get into a situation? But if you're sitting there all docile and fat, out of shape, what are you really doing? It's a good thing that, it's a good and bad thing, right? That we have a society, right? Because we do have, a society of men that protect weaker men. And that's probably why, these men can exist. But if you think about it, man, if this was 1,000 years ago and you were this kind of man, you'd be kicked out of the village, or you'd be discarded, or you might even be, taken out by the other men in your village, because what are you really doing? You can't hack it. If this was 1,000 years ago, you would have been on a hunt and gotten killed by the prey because you don't know how to contribute in that way of being physical. And that's wild to me that there are men out there who are just proud of it. They brag about it. Now I think there's some men who joke about it and brag, and it seems like bragging, but really deep down inside they know that they should be doing something. And to those men, I say, start today. Start right now. If you're watching this and if you haven't worked out in a long time, go to the gym tomorrow. Go to the gym right now. If you got an hour to kill, do some push-ups right now. You know what I mean? Again, you don't have to look like Schwarzenegger, right? Not everybody's gonna look like that. Some people are just genetically gifted. This is not a body shaming video. I'm not here to body shame. I'm not here to tell anybody because you're big, you're out of shape. I see a bunch of big dudes in the gym that can push up weight. And I guarantee you, they may not be able to run very far, but if it come down to some physicality, if they had to fight to protect themselves or their loved ones, they give you a run for your money. They probably break you in half. And that's my thing, man. There should not be men in the gym who, are lifting the same weights as their girl. That's crazy, okay? There's no reason you should be sweating as hard as she is on the same exercise. That's ridiculous. Now, listen, we all got to start somewhere, and you got to build up. And if you never worked out before, don't be ashamed, because you're already on the journey of getting to a better place, but physically. But we as men, we need to do better, right? That's why, you see women out there, like, they don't want to get married. They don't want to, have a bunch of kids and stuff like that, because when they're in that vulnerable state, who's got their back? It ain't us if we ain't out here making ourselves better, getting stronger, doing something physical to where we can actually protect and do things, right? Making money is one thing, but you gotta have a body that can protect, because at the end of the day, if you get caught in a situation, money ain't gonna get you out of it. You know what I mean? If you get caught in a dark alley somewhere, money ain't gonna get you out of that. Because you can give up the money, but if somebody wants to commit violence, they're gonna commit violence. Period. So that's the topic for today. Let me know in the comments if you feel the same way, if you've seen an epidemic of this as well, or if you disagree. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.